So I'm going to go over the 5 principles of self-determination, and these are by Tom Nerney, the Executive Director for Self-Determination. So the 5 principles, as you can see, of self-determination are authority. Authority, being able to recognize that you do have a choice and you can make a decision. The freedom to plan your own life, freedom to experience life on life's terms. So experiencing life, whether those are good things or bad things, being able to come from that situation and say, I can cope with it, or I can freak out and something like that. So self-determination is very important when we are faced with adverse conditions. Confirmation is important because everyone needs confirmation from either a support ally, a family member, or someone who encourages them to have self-determination, and how critical it is to make your own decisions and think for yourself and design the support system you need. So it's up to the individual who has the developmental disability to find a group of friends or a group of support allies that really follows the vision and the dreams. And support sets up the support system that they need to pursue the life they want. So if you hire or if you want someone that wants something different from you, then that's probably not a good idea for you to set up that kind of support system with those people. Freedom. This is a very important one, but it should be moderated, because as parents, it's probably very hard to let your child go and go off and have the wings fly. And I know that was hard for my mom, even though I still live with her. It's hard to see a child grow up, and I know that because my mom has expressed it to me so many times. But freedom to choose and support economic balance. So even though I personally don't do my finances, I'm on disability, I'm on Social Security, and I get my pay for being a Good Life Ambassador, I'm free to, if I wanted to move out, I could, but I choose that I'm socially and mentally not ready to do that. But I have that self-determination and that freedom to do that. And then responsibility, and then employment, that's the second part of it. Having employment opportunities, people encouraging you that you can get a job and that you can achieve the job that fits right for you. And then responsibility, being able to accept the consequences, and consequences can be good consequences or bad consequences from your decisions that you make when you're self-determined. And then these are subcategories of self-determination, and they're called the 7 domains. So they're pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to read them off and then sum all of them up at the end. Choice making, decision making, problem solving, goal setting, that's an important one that wasn't mentioned in the 5 principles. Self-advocacy and leadership, self-management, and self-regulation and self-awareness. So a lot of these are self words, but realize that self doesn't mean you're the only one who is aware. Other people have to make you aware or help you be aware. So it's really a group effort, but you are responsible for mainly your future and what happens to you in your life. So that's why we try to get as many people self-determined as early as possible, because it really does change the outcome of what your success will be in the future. And then what self-determination is not. So these are things that if you find yourself doing these things, then you might not be really self-determined, or things that might not be in your best interest. So if you want someone to do it for you, if you want someone to do the planning, make contacts or something, that's doing for you, that is not self-determination. Or making decisions for you, circumventing your opinions or your wishes and making decisions for you, making plans about your, and when I say your, I mean the individuals with special needs. Being idle, and this is more a support from parents to the kids. Being idle, make sure your kid is not idle, expecting others to plan for them. So this even goes to simply as relationships. Don't have other kids be doing their homework for them. That's a little step that I learned the hard way, because people were coming to me for homework because I was considered the brainiac and nothing more than that, just a piece of a computer that people would use me for. But don't be idle. Be active in your role as a self-determined individual. And then making assumptions. Making assumptions that other people know best. So this is more so from the outside person looking into someone who is self-determined. Making assumptions that other people know best. You, as the individual with a special need, know yourself the best, and you know what makes you happy, you know what makes you sad, you know what triggers you, you know what upsets you. And that's very important to tell people. And make it known that I do have my own, that you do have your own goals and your preferences. And say those, don't be afraid to say those, because that's being self-determined. And now we would like to talk about the first subject is who encouraged me, and I will lead into that. So who encouraged me to seek the things that were important to me? I want to start off with my grade school experience, which was the majority at Julie Billiard School. The teachers, I was there at the time when a lot of the Julie Billiard Sisters of Notre Dame were there. And so I learned that they taught me to be humble and to not expect, you have to work for what you got. And so they encouraged my talents. I like to sing, so they had me sing. And even though I struggled socially, they didn't dwell on that. They dwelled on what my abilities were. My family, especially my mom and Auntie M, my Auntie M is kind of like a caregiver for me, and they were honest with me. They were realistic about my goals and what my future. They took time to sit down with me and talk about what was in my reach and what was not. So if I was capable of doing something or not. And now Molly.
So my support allies who are here tonight are my mom and my dad, and Beth Thompson, who's technically not here, is my support ally, but she still helped me a lot in my journey, so I'm going to include her. And then my fiance, especially my mom and dad when I was younger, they really encouraged me and helped me to get to a place that I don't think any of us really expected me to be in. So they were a huge driving force in that. And sorry, my fiance currently is probably the one who's like the biggest motivator, especially when there are days where I also have really bad depression and anxiety, and he really helps kind of push me through those days where I just want to lie in bed and do nothing, and he really encourages me to be like, no, even if it's this one thing, you just have to do this one thing. So he really helps me with that kind of stuff.
Thank you, Molly. I had many people that encouraged me to seek things that were important to me. There are two people who were key to my success. My mom was the person in my life who supported me most through high school and college. She always let me take the lead and drive the decisions in my life when I was old enough to do so. The other person is Chris Gar. He is the Director of Programs at Youth Challenge. He has been a huge support in my professional life because he supported me both as an athlete and as an employee of Youth Challenge. Chris took the time to get to know me and saw me as an asset to the team at Youth Challenge and hired me as a coach. I have been coaching for 4 years. Next, Christian.
Thank you, Sean. In my life, I've had many people encourage me to be the best that I can be in life. But one person in particular who's in the audience is Beth Thompson, who I've had the pleasure to work with before. Me and her go way back. She's one of the reasons why I am who I am today. She gave me the purpose and the self-development to be able to move forward and give me good advice. Advice is always, always a good thing. She gave me that push that I needed to move forward. I was able to make my own decisions. I was able to tell when the decision is good and when it's not good for me. She educated me on skills like interview for a job, and I'm very grateful to have her in my life today. So she's one of many reasons why I'm here today. So thank you, Beth. And next will be Will.
Thank you, Christian. There are a few people in my life, but I will name a few. Some are not here tonight, but one is my mother, who is still adjusting to life without me living at home. But she still tries to still be involved a little bit as much as possible when I need it, and if I feel I need it, I should say, which is still nice as long as you do. Another person who is also not here is my sister Ellen, who she's always been helpful to me, even in the years when she lived in D.C., but now she had just moved back to Cleveland as of a few months ago. They're the ones that always tell me, if you put your mind to it, keep pursuing what you want to do despite your conditions. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not going to make it. Bless you. But there is one person in the audience here tonight, a longtime caregiver of mine, Douglas D. Roberts. He's been my caregiver since first grade, and he's always, in fact, when he found out that I was going to apply for the Good Life Ambassador program, he said to me, I already was going for it, but he gave me extra bonus push to go for it. And there's times when he always has talked to me about things that I don't necessarily like hearing, that nobody likes to hear, but after a while, when you look back at it, it's worth it. So I thank him for all that he has done for me, and I'm honored to always know every so often that he always calls me the kid that he never got to have in his life. And I would also say that Chris Scar has also been a good supporter to me, as crazy as he drives me in a joking way. But with all that aside, I'm grateful for that too. So that's among the few people that have always been a good support to me. And now for the next slide.